Hey there everybody, Scutter here today, and in this episode of the Country Living series we're going to talk about collecting rainwater. Many people in the country often have gardens, and they either have in-ground gardens or they container garden. And if you have a situation like we've had this year, we've had quite a bit of drought this year. There's been very little rain, and in order to maintain and sustain a garden you've got to have water. And one of the best ways of getting water is collecting the rainwater that falls from the sky. And in this episode, I'm going to show you guys just a couple of ideas and tips that I have for collecting rainwater. This will be this won't be anything fancy. This is kind of the redneck way of doing things. But maybe it'll give you guys some ideas for those of you who really have never thought about it before. It's also a good idea to collect a little bit of rainwater if things got really bad and we saw sustained loss of electricity or water supply. You can collect rainwater to drink, and at least that will sustain you and your family for a while. So we're going to go over to the section that I have where I collect rainwater, and I'll show you guys some ideas that I have. Okay, I'm over here. We're at the section where I collect some of my rainwater, and you can see we've got quite a few different things set up here. These are just old garbage cans. We've got plastic tubs. We've got 5-gallon buckets. These are totes, some extra totes that I had, and you can see they've all got water in them to some degree or the other. These right here were old shop back canisters that I had. You can use basically anything that will collect water. And one thing you want to do is, if you'll see here, I've got my bucket situated right up under the carport. That way when the rainwater falls off of the carport when it rains, it'll collect faster in your buckets here. This right here is basically just a plastic mesh. It's plastic fencing, plastic mesh. It's real lightweight, real thin. And what you can do, you can use this type, or you can use, some people use window screen, because of course on these you'll see that the spacing is pretty wide in these, and a lot of people use a window screen because of course it's going to be just minute spacing. But all you have to do is just take some of this and cover your buckets, and if you need to secure it, you can also always take some bungee cord or some rope and just tie it around the edges there, and that'll help keep the big leaves and big debris from getting into your water. If you use the smaller like window screening, then that will help keep bugs and stuff like that from getting into your water. You can also take just a piece of plywood, just a little bit bigger than the size of whatever you're using, and you can take that, cut it out, and you can just lay it over the top right after the rains, and then you can put that on top, and that will help keep the bugs out. You can see, I don't know if you can see in there, there's some bug debris in there, and like I said, since I use this for the garden, I'm not that worried about it. But if you were using this for drinking water, then you would want to keep it a little bit cleaner. They do make units and things now that are pretty high tech, but of course they're going to cost you quite a bit of money if you buy those. So that's just kind of a simple country kind of way of helping to keep your water a little bit cleaner. Of course, if you wanted to use the water for drinking water, then you could certainly do that. What you would need to do is get you a container like this, like a milk jug or a 2-liter Coke bottle, anything that you would use that would hold liquid for drinking, and you could put it in these types of containers. What you would need to do is you would need to get you out, dip out a bucket of water, and then what I would suggest would be to get some cheesecloth and put the cheesecloth over another bucket and pour that water across the cheesecloth into the new bucket to strain out any of the grass or leaves or bug remnants that might be in the water. And then you can do one of two things. If you use this type of container, you could put anywhere from 2 to 4 small drops of regular plain bleach. You'll just drop it in there, take it, swish it around real good, and then that will be enough to sterilize the water for you should you need to drink it. The other method that you can use, of course, is you can always boil your water. And if you boil the water, then that will sterilize it enough to drink it. It probably isn't the most ideal situation, but it is enough to keep you alive in a kind of worst case scenario. It will be enough for you and your family to survive on until you can get a better source of water. So anyway, that's just some tips that I had for sharing my ideas about collecting rainwater. I will tell you that if you are gardening, especially, that if you use rainwater, it will be much, much better for your gardens than tap water from the faucet on the side of the house. I learned that this year, especially. We've had such a dry spout this year, and I've had to use the garden hose to water my plants quite a bit. And I can always tell a very significant difference when it rains, because when it rains, the plants will shoot up quite a bit, and the growth, the vegetable growth on there, you'll see it's almost like transforming overnight. When I use the garden hose, it's a very, very slow process. It's almost just enough just to keep the plants alive, but the vegetables don't grow very well. So that's a tip for you guys and something for you guys to remember. So anyway, I know this was kind of rudimentary, but I hope it helps somebody out there. As always, you guys can leave your comments and questions below, and you guys take care. We'll talk to you later. God bless, and bye-bye for now.